Hi guys, my name is Dan. Thank you for tuning into Ingle Guys. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much. We're picking up the second half of the August Tarotscopes. I've been busy working all week, so this is my day off. So I'm trying to get some of these done for the month of August. This is for the air signs, is what I'm going to do today. Hopefully, if I can get to both air and water, I will try to. Libra. So we'll do Libra, then Aquarius. One of the air signs will be Gemini today. So if you have a sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Libra, you may want to watch this. Or if you have heavily placed planets in the sign of Libra, you may want to watch this, right? And I would consider like 3 or more planets in the sign of Libra to be heavily placed. That would be some sort of indication as to maybe what kind of a month you will have in August. This is, just so that you know, this is a broad spectrum reading. So I use broad terms because I'm trying to reach, a lot of different Libras with different placements and all that. So you kind of have to take what you need and sort of leave the rest, right? If it applies, great, utilize it. If it doesn't, that's okay. Nothing's wrong. You just might be working on something different. So keep that in mind. So this is the first card. It's from the I Am Everything deck. I thought it was a kind of a cool grand statement to go along with Leo season. So for my Libras, this is kind of like your mantra for the month, or maybe your focus, something you want to repeat to yourself or focus on during the month to kind of help guide you through it. So, I love it. You guys get number 1, which is the self, and it is I am love. I may not have always made the right choices, but I did my best. I love so much. I can't read today. I have so much love to give, and everyone around me can feel it. I am given a clean slate every single day to be the best version of me that I can be. I am forgiven. I am loved. I love that. That's a beautiful sentiment, right? So I think that, it being card number 1, the focus for my Libras this month will be about focusing on yourself, maybe taking care of yourself, giving that sort of, self-love, bringing about that balance that you guys naturally represent in your sign to your relationship with yourself, the way you believe in yourself, how you hold yourself in your life, and understanding that, honoring that, really owning that this month would be key and a beautiful time to do so, especially in we have not only the the first half of August is Leo season still, which is a very opulent, sort of decadent, wonderful, generous energy. But then the second half, we fold into Virgo, which is also very grounded, centered, discerning. So both lovely energies for August to kind of explore the state of being in I am love, right? Honoring ourselves, taking care of ourselves, indulging ourselves, self-care, all of that sort of stuff. So keep that in mind, Libra. Let's get into the cards and see what the cards have to say. Okay. All right, so this is your center, or where you're kind of centered at for the month. It gives me just indication of where you're sort of operating from, or what you could for the future. So let's look at that. We've got the 9 of Wands. Nines are about personal commitment. And in a sense, when I look at this, I am love. Whatever we're kind of done with, maybe whatever we've been through, whatever sort of challenges we've faced, this here is the focus of having to me, I kind of am translating this, particularly in this reading, because of the I am love card here. I am translating this as we may be wrapping up some chapters this month, or we've been in the process of coming to some endings with things, but not bad endings per se, right? It may be endings where we've learned something in the process. We've acknowledged something. We're wiser. We're more maybe, what's the word I'm looking for? We're just smarter, more aware. And that also, to me, with this 9 of Wands in the center, makes me feel like this is what sort of shifts us into this state for August of wanting to be in this place of I am love, right? Where we are maybe not dealing with situations, people, or anything that maybe previously has brought us hard work, struggle, controversy, harm, whatever it may be, right? We've kind of run the road with that. And we've made the choice, or we've come to the determination, we've come to the awareness and the realization that I don't have to do this anymore. I can sort of, I've learned what I need out of this, and I'm wiser because of it, even though it may have been a struggle. I don't get any sense of like regretting anything. I actually get a sense of maybe even gratitude after a period of hard work or struggle. I love that the first card for you guys is a Wands card, in the sense that it is your complementary element. You guys are air. Air feeds fire. Fire, Wands energy is fire, and fire is that sort of element of spirit, that of taking action, that of taking, that of desire. When I look at the Nine of Wands here in this I Am Love card, it's like we're finally maybe coming to completions where we're taking responsibility, or not necessarily that we haven't. It's like we're taking responsibility for ourselves, Libra, and we're no longer maybe buying into sort of maybe some sort of, I don't know, bullshit situation that's been ongoing for. I hope that makes sense. Excuse my language, but I kind of feel like, and we're not necessarily fixated on, what they did wrong or how that situation treated us. We're really kind of done. We've learned our lesson. We've moved on, and we're better off for it. Is really the truth. Is at least what I'm feeling with these two cards. The next card is the Foundation. This tells me a bit about the past, or what was going on in the past, that all of this reading is built upon today, right? So it's this memory from the past that is potentially driving everything forward into the future, or this memory kind of is what is holding everything in place, if that makes sense. It's all built upon this card. So I love this. This is Temperance. And this is this card is Major Arcana, so this is a very significant foundation, right? But it's also the card that is associated with the sign of Sagittarius, again, fire sign energy, which is complementary to Libra. So I will take it. Temperance is always about that sort of balance, which is very particular to also the sign of Libra, right? Temperance is about being like in touch with our emotions, yet grounded and aware of our environment in our physical world, like maintaining an emotional and a physical balance, right? Temperance is about maintaining and cultivating peace in our life. When I look at this as your past, there was a period where you maybe felt more keyed in, more at peace with everything that was around you, more maybe in control of what you were experiencing. I get a sense when I look at this card, it feels like it was a while ago, right? Like a significant period of time ago. This doesn't feel recent to me. This feels further back. Does that make sense? But it is a period of your life that you didn't forget. It is a period of your life that I feel like you look on fondly. It is a period of your life that I really do feel you want to get back to and may be headed to. And the reason why I say that is not only because of the position of this card, but also the fact that I get this sense between the I Am Love card and the Nine of Wands is this idea of, okay, I'm no longer going to do this to myself, or I'm no longer going to partake in this situation, or I'm no longer I've learned what I need to learn. Now I want to head back to this, sense of balance, peace, maybe even a sense of, I don't know if control is the right word, but there is a sort of like a little bit of a feeling of feeling in control again of our lives, or feeling in charge of our choices, right? And we're just now getting to that place, is this feeling that I get with this Nine of Wands in the center. We're just now making maybe wiser choices for ourselves. And those choices are focused on what brings us happiness, what serves us best, right? And I love that Temperance is driving this, because to me, that is just a really like lovely spiritual guide, a very powerful spiritual guide. It might be a quieter, softer, more peaceful sort of voice or experience than we've been receiving in the more recent future. But the desire to get back there is certainly strong. It's certainly present. It's certainly within our memory. And we may get back there, not necessarily back there, but we may get back to that place again in our life, but maybe in a bigger, more grander way, is my feeling. Now, the next card is what I call the Spirit or Soul card. This is the card that's above you. This is the Queen of Pentacles. Lovely card. She's the sort of like emotional master manifester. She's a mixture of sort of cups and earth, cups and pentacles. I love that this is sort of like, to me, being in the spirit card position, it sort of says, okay, Libra, what do you want and how do you want it? That's sort of the feeling that I get. What feels right? What feels good? What connects you? What excites you, right? At a sort of maybe a more material level, in the sense of like, what do you want to do for work? What do you want to like? What do you want your life to look like in the months to come or in the next few years? This is the sort of feeling that I get when it's when we've got something that's so physical, like the Queen of Pentacles, and emotional, right? Sitting in our spiritual space. It kind of brings me to this place where it feels like spirit is asking us, or our spirit is asking us, okay, where do we want to be? What do we want our life to look like? And what is the thing that brings us, that sort of unadulterated bliss? And we see that also reflected in this I am love. It's like, how do we honor ourselves in that way? And the Queen of Pentacles to me is a very earthy, tangible way of honoring that or giving that to us ourselves, not only on just a physical or monetary level, but also on a very emotional level too, right? So I would say this is a month to like, where can we, I don't know if indulgence is the right word, but where can we sort of explore what makes us feel good physically and emotionally, right? And begin to pursue those things, begin to sort of cultivate those or acknowledge those sort of needs within ourselves, and then go about creating them. The Queen of Pentacles will show us how to make those things happen for ourselves. The Nine of Wands would be about that sort of spiritual desire and like sort of the conscious choice or the completions that need to take place so that we can move towards and take action and move towards those things that we do desire, right? And the Queen will show us how to get there. And all of this being based on this Temperance card says to me, will these things, these joys, these passions, these desires, will they bring us to this state of feeling a little bit more peace, a little bit more connected, a little bit more spiritually sort of centered? They certainly could, is the feeling that I get from this reading. Now, the next two cards are what I call the outside influences. These are things that could be affecting you either positively or negatively. They can be things such as people, events, belief systems, or energies that are having an effect on you during the month of August. Let's see what they are. So we have the Knight of Swords. This is definitely your guys' home energy. The Knight of Swords can indicate like a slightly older male or female of the air sign variety. So that would be Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini, that could be wanting to come in and assist or help, be of service, bring new thought, new ideas. If the Knight of Swords isn't an actual person, it could just be opportunities or situations that could come on quickly during this month that allow us to find movement, that might require us to think quickly. It might feel that we might be jumping into things with this energy, because the Knight of Swords can be somewhat fast and I wouldn't say frantic, but like, sometimes looking before we, or leaping before we look kind of thing, instead of looking before we leap. It's sort of the opposite. But I also feel like the Knight of Swords is a fairly capable, whether it's a situation or a person, they're fairly capable person. They're fairly capable of kind of like pivoting, if that makes any sense, like being much more sort of in the moment. To me, the Knight of Swords being an outside influence feels that like maybe August might move quickly for some of you, or the majority of you. The options there should be, to me, Knights always signify this idea of being in service. So they should bring good tidings, is my feeling with this Knight of Swords. And I also feel like the way that this positioned owl is, feels like he's swooping in towards that nine of Wands, right? If he was on the other side of the reading, he wouldn't feel so much like he's kind of directed straight at Libra. Does that make sense? And so to me, be aware of, maybe fast and quick opportunities that you might have to decide quickly, right? And I would say with the Queen of Pentacles up there and Temperance below you, you can probably trust your decision making in the moment. That's my feeling. But you may not feel as though you can trust it. With that Nine of Wands in the center, you might be wanting to be a little bit more careful or thought out in your decisions. The other outside influence is the Nine of Swords. So this would indicate why you might feel a little bit worried about making, say, maybe a wrong decision, fearing, because the Nine of Swords can be about nightmares, fears, situations not really quite working out or bringing us stress and worry, right? And so there may be some things, some of the things that we might be consciously closing up, or chapters we're walking away from, people, situations, whatever that Nine of Wands represents for us. The Nine of Swords could be the endings of those things, or the challenges of those situations sort of still lingering around. And I feel like the Knight of Swords wants to maybe swoop in and pick us up and carry us away to new things. And we might be a little bit weary or worried about, jumping too quickly. I would say jump, especially with the Nine of Swords being the other option here. Because if we spend too much time thinking about things, we might shift into this Nine of Swords energy, which would be an energy of worry, fear. It would be a lower vibration. It would be maybe stress of some sort, like overthinking things, getting too worried, right? And you guys being an air sign, both of these cards being swords says that these things will show us, they will teach us. Even the Nine of Swords, as much as it's about worry and fear, ultimately it's your home suit of swords, Libra. So even if you have to face some of your fears or some of your mental thought challenges that you carry around with you through this month of August, it's ultimately going to serve you. It's going to be some sort of like a form of support, although it may not feel like it in the moment. It could feel stressful or worrisome. But these two, because they're both swords cards to me, I get this distinct feeling that both are to your benefit, or will teach you in a way that lines up with sort of who you are. But you get a choice of which one you want to like sort of dwell in this month, or how you want to experience some of these things. You can be giving your thoughts or your attention to the Nine of Swords if things aren't working out around you in the month of August, but you certainly also have opportunities to make quick, swift changes with the capacity and the help of the Knight of Swords to maybe move you away from those fears, or move you away to new options, new opportunities, because we have that Queen of Pentacles up in the soul space. We have that Temperance card down in the foundation. So there is an opportunity here to transition out of whatever has been stressing us, which we are already in the process of transitioning out, but we really have to like sort of like almost double down and really commit to that. That's the I Am Love card too, like making that firm commitment to ourselves that like you don't want to stay in this, these worrisome situations or whatever it might have been that you just maybe come out of. Now, the next card is what I call the potential outcomes. And what I mean by potential outcomes is this is where things could potentially end up for the Libras at the end of the month, barring that nothing major changes. If it's a negative card, we can take heart in the fact that through free will, we can make choices and changes in our lives to affect the outcome so that this card does not come to pass. But we can take heart in the fact that we're naturally heading towards this card. And if we like it, we don't have to do anything to change our behavior. Like we don't have to change anything if we want this card to come to pass, if it's a card we do like. All right, so this is the Five of Swords. So this says to me right now that the Knight and the Nine are going to have a little bit more of a fight. We're going to have a little bit more of the outside influences are going to have more of an effect on us than I thought previous, right? Five of Swords is that swords energy. So we are ending out on an air sign energy card, which I feel like is okay. And it's going to teach the Libra something. Fives are always transitory in my book. So this is not going to be a big significant ending. It's going to be a transitional ending of the month. We might be moving towards something better. There's certainly a realization in the Five of Swords. One of that which is like sort of, do I want to fight? Do I want to stay? Do I want to continue to argue? Do I want to continue to like prove my point? Is it really that important? Oftentimes with the Five of Swords, we're not necessarily getting what we want. We think that we may have fought for what we thought we needed, and then we find out that in the end, it actually didn't feel as good or pay off as much as we thought. So when I see this here, that's why I feel like that Knight and that Nine are maybe fighting and battling for Libra's attention or focus this month. And Libra might be having a hard time figuring out which one to give sort of their attention to. Does that make sense? And so by month's end, you might still be a little bit confused, but you're figuring things out. It does kind of, with the Five of Swords being there, it does kind of indicate to me that some of my Libras are going to be more worried about that Nine of Swords than they're going to be willing to take the risk with the Knight of Swords, if that makes sense. And some of that has to do with the fact that you guys are Libras, you're associated with the scales, you want to keep balance and maintain balance, that's your thing. And so in an effort to maybe maintain balance, you might like try and look at your fears or what worries you or what's causing you problems and try and fix those problems, when in all actuality, you may not be able to. That's my feeling, because if we're ending it on the Five of Swords, it says to me that like, okay, it didn't really turn out the way we thought it was going to, or how we thought we needed it, right? But again, like I said, fives are transitory, so it's not going to stay that way. I really do feel like that Five of Swords is positioning us into a place where the realization of whatever we get at the end of this month sets us up for probably an even better experience in September, or an opportunity to realize, you know, it's this funny feeling with these two swords cards, even though the 5 and the 9 are a little bit like on the more negative side. I feel like because they're swords cards, that this stuff, whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're challenged by, Libra, it's going to actually end up teaching you in a rather profound way, and it's going to be of service to you in the long run. It just may not feel like it when you're in the moment dealing with it. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Again, that Five of Swords is not be all end all. You can change all of that if you choose to lean towards, you know, maybe taking a little bit more risk, loving yourself a little bit more deeply, not necessarily taking the cues from the outside world, especially if they're sort of causing you stress, worry, or anxiety, and focusing more on yourself and staying in this state of I am love. Remember, I may not have always made the right choices, but I did my best. I have so much love to give, and everyone around me can feel it. I am given a clean slate every single day to be the best version of me that I can be. I am forgiven. I am love. So that is your mantra. And I just wanted to repeat that, because for those of you that want to get sucked into that Nine of Swords, don't. Stay, you know, focused on you and stay in that Nine of Wands, which is, you know, although battered, it's sort of, they've learned something there. We've learned something from what we've been through thus far. So let's not go back into it if we can avoid it. That's my feeling for the Libras for August. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit the thumbs up button if you did, and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. I would greatly appreciate it. Share the video out with any other Libras you know. You can also look up your sun, moon. You can look up all three and do a cross section of 3 different readings to see your sun, moon, and rising, to kind of indicate what kind of things you could potentially be dealing with in the month of August. And as I said, almost half of the signs are up, all of the earth signs, all of the fire signs. I'm working on the air signs today. So, and then water will probably be either, if I can get to them later today, I will. If not, I will do them tomorrow. All right. Thank you, and have a wonderful day, you guys, and take care. Bye-bye.